So when we talk about Jenkins, okay, we talked about Jenkins. We came to know how to install Jenkins. If something is missed, please let me know, okay? So we came to know what is Jenkins, what is a CI when I say Jenkins. Then we learned how to install Jenkins. Then I went ahead and told that to work with Jenkins, I need to have Java installed on my machine. I saw that Java 11 is the correct version and I went ahead with Java 11. Then I went ahead and installed Jenkins and my Jenkins was up and running. The first aspect which we spoke about is how to make my Jenkins secure. So the moment I talk about security, I talk about role-based authentication plugin. Role-based authentication plugin will decide a role. Based on that role, I will have my users, and these users will be given a restricted permission. Means only a valid user will get a valid access. Other users will not get that kind of access. Then we started with master slave configuration, where we told that we will be working on a distributed build environment, and if there is a problem in the sense the master has gone out of order and the workload is more, so in that case I will distribute the workload and give some workload to my slave node. Okay, now this is what we already know. Now moving ahead, what we are going to do is we are going to talk about pipelines. Now when I say pipeline, it is very mandatory for me to know what is a pipeline. So if I simply go here and say Jenkins pipeline, so to me the Jenkins pipeline is looking or will look something like this. Okay, for me this is a pipeline. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to hide the inner complexity of my system and only trying to show the thing which is necessary. So anything which is working inside, I'm not showing that. I'm only showing the external stuffs. So if you see carefully here, as a developer, as an end user, I will simply upload my code and I will get the output. Now, what is happening inside, I will never come to know. More importantly, I don't want to know also. Now, let me say a scenario is there where you go to a car driving school, and the car driving school, he will teach you what is accelerator, clutch, brake, and how to hold the steering and all those things. He will not teach you what is this engine type, how to fill coolant, how to fill gas, how to wash the car. So these are not the things which you are interested in, how the engine works and all those things. You are not going to have a mechanical, or you're not going for a course where you learn how to repair a car. So you don't get into the engine, you don't get into the washing of the car and all those things. You concentrate only on learning how to drive. And when it is learning how to drive, you hide the inner complexity and show only the details which is required. Same in my DevOps world, an end user, let me say a developer is there. He is not bothered what is happening inside. His concern will be that I will put the code in GitHub and the code should go all the way and go to my production environment. And in between what is happening, he doesn't care. And I also don't want to give him all those details. So here, if you see, this is my CI/CD pipeline. I start here, my SCM commit is there, workflow starts, SCM checkout happens, build happens, test, deploy, workflow. So all these things happens in between, but the end user only sees that development environment and finally the code and output environment. So we will also try to implement something like this. Now, when we start talking about a pipeline, we will hear the terminology pipeline a lot of times. We'll hear node. So node is nothing but a machine. It can be a master machine or a worker machine. There are something called stages. So stages means, suppose there are 20 tasks to be done, or there is a task to be done. You split the task into small pieces, and that is called stage. One stage can be further divided into a number of steps. Okay, so you go ahead and start your work. Now, when you start your work, you will see that there are two types of pipeline scripts which you can write. So pipeline will need scripting, and scripting is Groovy scripting. But before I go here, let me just come here and see how the pipeline looks in my Jenkins world. So let me copy this, take this, come here. 8080 is my plugin. Okay, so if I go to pipeline, this is where this is my pipeline job. So if you read here, it says it will orchestrate long running jobs for you, long running activities for you, which can span multiple build agents. And it is suitable for building pipeline, which was prior to this known as workflow. So it is good if you are putting some workflow and you are organizing some complex activities which will not easily fit in your freestyle project. So one thing which I understand is there is multiple steps involved. It will be good for my complex activities, and I can span multiple. So whenever I want a big long running task, I would go ahead and use this. Okay, so let's start the work. Now, before starting the work, earlier it was known as workflow. So how does a workflow look like? Let me just go ahead and talk about that first. Okay, so for workflow to work, you have to go to manage Jenkins. I already have the plugin installed, but you will have to install that plugin. So you need to go to manage plugins. Here for me, I'm going to my install, but you go in available and install this plugin, which is build pipeline plugin. You will get this build pipeline plugin. Okay, so this is the plugin which we need to install.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
For now, since the first class, we just installed the role plugin, the Git plugin, and now this one, right? Just 3, right?
Can you repeat your question?
Since the beginning of the course, we just installed 3 different kinds of plugin: the role plugin, the Git, and now this is the 3rd one.
Okay, see, the plugins can't be, you can say that 3 types of plugins. There are multiple plugins. So as and when you require a plugin, you go ahead and install it. Okay, so as of now, I need this build pipeline plugin, so I'm using it. Later down the line, if I use something else, I will go ahead and install that also. Okay, so this is my build pipeline plugin, which I have just now installed. For me, I have installed in the morning, so I just see a tick here. For you, you will find it in available, and then you can go ahead and find you can install this plugin. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some series of jobs, and I will put them in a chronological order. Means A will trigger B, B will trigger C, C will trigger D, something like that I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm creating 4 new jobs, and these will be freestyle jobs only. So I can see my first job, I will say it's a freestyle. My job A, let me put it like this, job A. Copy this. I will say it's a freestyle project. As of now, I'm saying it's a freestyle project. I'll tell you what I'm trying to do, then you will come to understand. In job A, in build step, execute shell, echo in job A, something like this, apply, save. So like this, I'll create some 3-4 jobs. Back to dashboard. Pipeline job. Sorry, it's a freestyle job. Then 2 more.
And I use different kind of plugin because I didn't found exactly build pipeline.
No, you will be able to find it. If you're using the latest version, which I'm using, definitely you will be able to find it. You have to find build pipeline. And I will request not to practice during the class. Let's get the concepts here. You get the recordings. Do practice at that time, because then if you do not get the concept, just following the steps without knowledge will be very difficult to understand and digest. In job D. Okay, so now what I have done is I have created 4 jobs, okay, A, B, C, D, and I want to trigger them in a sequence. Okay, so I want that when job A should run and it completes successfully, it should trigger B, something like this. So I'm in job A. I'll go to post build action. Here I will say build another project. So I will say job B should be triggered. Apply, save. So it says downstream job is job B, means once job A is successfully complete, it will trigger job B. Configure. I want that job B, once it is successfully done, it should trigger C. So build other project. Job C. Apply, save. And then the last upstream, downstream. So C should trigger D. Configure. Job C. C should trigger D. Post build action.
Every action you append from A, right?
From
A.
The first
A, you append.
The first job is A, then goes to B, then C, then D. So I can show you. So when job A will start, it will trigger B. So downstream is B. For B to start, the upstream job A should complete, then B, and then it will trigger C. For C to start, it will go ahead. C will trigger D. So this is what we are doing here. Now, any real-time example of a multiple trigger, I'll come to that. So here, I come back to my dashboard. Here, you will see there's a plus button. Click on this, and you give a name here. So build pipeline. Build pipeline. Give any name of your choice. Go here and say build pipeline view and create. And here you pipeline, P-I-P-E-L-I-N. And here down the line, you can leave everything as it is. Here it says initial job. So I say the initial job is job A. You see what happened now. New pipeline, build pipeline, create. Save. Okay. The view has no jobs associated, right? Let me go back. Build pipeline. Okay, nothing is here. New pipeline. Okay, hold on for a second. Dashboard. New item. Build pipeline view, build pipeline view, create. That's okay. Everything looks okay to me. Select initial job is job A. Apply. Save. So I'm saying trigger a pipeline. Now, if I say trigger a pipeline, I can see the first job A is running. It is green in color. The others are waiting, so it is blue in color. So you have to keep refreshing it. Now you will see job B has triggered and the other jobs are waiting. Then after some time, C will trigger. D is waiting. If one of the job fails, it will be in red color. Now, basically, this kind of thing is very much required when a person is doing a batch monitoring kind of thing. In a real life, this is a very common scenario. Now, let me say that there is a bank which is running a loan processing job. So this loan processing job, it is running in batches. Okay. So let me say the first thing what they check is whether the customer has account in their bank or not. Second thing they check whether the customer has a good credit history or not. Third thing they check is whether he has an existing, it is not blue-green deployment. No. Blue-green is something else. So third thing what they check is whether the guy has a good credit history or not. Existing loans are there or not. So each step is one independent task. So before he gets a loan approval mail stating that, okay, your loan has been approved, there are series of steps which has to go through in the background. And hence we use this kind of a workflow. Now, if I run it without workflow, let me say I'm working it here or I'm running it just like this. I go to job A and I build the job. So it will run, okay, it will start blinking, okay, it will run. You see here, job B is waiting in the queue to be executed. Then after some time, you will see job C is getting executed. See here, second build, job C is waiting. See job C is there in the queue. And finally, job C is getting executed. Job C is done. Now job D is getting executed. Now this is one pipeline what I have. But in case you have multiple pipelines, it will seriously become a problem for you to track everything. Who is getting executed, which job failed. So all those kind of problems will come. So I would not want to get into all these things. Rather, I will go with the pipeline job. So I will come here and say new item, and I will create a pipeline job. Now, I told you when we talk about pipeline job, the pipeline job can be of two types. One is declarative pipeline, and the other one is a scripted pipeline. So if I just compare them, okay, they are almost similar, but there are good number of differences which you will see. So declarative pipeline, the script is something like this. Let me copy the script. Okay. Now, if you see carefully, I will change the language here. Let me put it as shell only, not shell. Let me put it as YAML, or better put it as Python, because there is no coding for this. Yeah, fine. So I put it as Python. So if you see here, there's a declarative pipeline, starts with a keyword as pipeline, says agent any means any available agent. If you don't mention an agent, then it will pick any available agent. Master will decide and put it there. The first step is a build step. Give any name here, and here you write the command which you want to run. So I'll just run it like this for time being. Echo in build step. Okay. Similarly, I will try to copy paste this thing here right now. in test step, in deploy step. Okay, now let me say you want to add anything else. Okay, so click here. The indentation is very important. The parentheses are important. So I am in my, let me say, archive stage. Archive. Okay. So this is what I have written. So let me just go ahead and create a job with this name. This is my Jenkins. I will say declarative script pipeline, something like this. It's a pipeline project. Okay. And here I will say my first declarative pipeline project. And I'll go to advanced project properties. Here I'll copy paste the code. Take it from here. Now, if it is not correct, something goes wrong, and you try to save it, it will throw you error here. It will throw you error stating that it is not correct. So you should give it correctly. Apply, save. One more thing is now I can build this. So let's build it. It is getting executed, and you will see build in progress. Test, deploy, archive. So if you have 50 steps, it will come step by step. Now, very similar to this, you have another type of pipeline, which is scripted pipeline. Scripted pipeline. So let me take this scripted pipeline. Go to dashboard, new item, scripted, SCRI script, pipeline. Okay. Give any message, my first scripted pipeline. Go here and put your script. So if you see this script, it is comparatively simpler. You can write the same piece of code here also, but if you match the syntax, it is different. Okay, just let me come here and make changes. Okay, I want to add one more step. Okay, now if you compare both of them, syntax, the syntax for scripted will be comparatively simpler. Here you simply start with node, stage, and then what you want to do. So let me run this one also. Apply, save.
Sir, is this the standard scripting?
Yes, this is a standard scripting. At least
So
in
we
Jenkins,
don't need to remember all this time.
No, you don't have. I will tell you how to write all these things. This is what I'm doing as of now is only for learning purpose, but I'll tell you how to write a proper script.
Okay.
So as of you see here, both the scripts are giving me the same kind of output. But a very important question comes here is, if both are same or both are giving me the same thing, why should I go with a scripted pipeline or why should I go with a other pipeline. So if I come here, okay, I will see there are two major differences. One is your syntax. For second is, if you come here to configure, and let me say you made some changes. Let me say in echo. So echo is expecting a, echo is expecting a message to be printed. You said echo 1, apply, save. See here, I'm in a scripted pipeline. Okay, I will run it.
So during running also we can amend something?
No. So if you come here in the scripted pipeline, is it a Groovy scripting? Yes, it is Groovy scripting. So if you come here, you can see that the job has failed here. So this is a problem. Why this is a problem? If I have 100 jobs to run, and if it fails in between, I have to start from the first step. I don't have a mechanism to start from in between. So the problem is build is done, test is done, but in deploy it failed. And again, I have to start from scratch. Means again, I have to build, again, I have to test. This is a problem. But this thing can be fixed in the declarative pipeline. In declarative pipeline, the good thing is that the syntax check happens before the code starts execution. So if you come here, suppose there is a problem at test step, or like my previous thing only, there is a problem in deploy step. Apply, save. Let me build this. It will fail, but the good thing is it will not actually exist here. No execution was done. Initially did a syntax check and then only started the execution. See here, the console output says echo 1 is not correct. It is expecting some message. It's a string, so it is expecting some message. You have given a numeric value, so it is wrong. You can't do like that. So this is the first difference. When you talk about declarative pipeline, it first does the syntax check and then goes ahead and executes the code. Whereas in scripted, simply it will go ahead and execute the code. And the moment it fails, message. Now let me go back to my scripted pipeline, go here to configure, and let me fix this problem.
Which one is best practice?
I'll come to that. Please hold on. Deploy step. So I am coming here. I have made changes, but accidentally I made a mistake here in deploy step. Apply, save. Now let me run it. Build now. It will run, but at this time it has failed at this particular step. Now if I go inside, see here, there is no option to restart from the failed step. I go to console output and I come to know that it says ECO found and it is not a command. So I have to go back and start from the step where there was a problem. Let's go back to configure. Advanced project option. Build it. And it runs and gives you the output. So this is a problem here. If it fails, you do not have a restart option. Go back. Go back. Now this time I will go back to my declarative pipeline. In declarative pipeline, if I go to configure and I do a similar kind of mistake, in deploy stage, apply it, save it. So here it will not be able to detect that there is a problem initially. So it will start the execution. Okay. See here, it started the execution, but these two steps failed because it was not able to execute them. If I go back to my configure section, sorry, not configure section. If I go back to my failure section and see what has failed. So here it says, there is an option to restart. Go here. And here it says, where would you like to restart your content from? So you can go ahead and make change. Whatever the problem is.
In declarative, you can commit.
Whatever is present here only. I'm not committing anything. So I come back to my third thing. I have made my code changes, and here I can restart from stage, and I can start from, let me say, test. So here I do get an option. It is again taking the old code only, but the most important thing is that I do have an option of providing the code. Why I took the old code? Let me run it from beginning. Let's see what happens. Okay, so you can see here the fifth build went fine, but the most important thing which I saw here was there is an option to restart from the failed step. I can fix it and I can start it from the failed step. Now this is another difference. So overall, if you go to this particular pipeline, the declarative pipeline, here you will see that there are a lot more options available, lot more features available when I compare it with the scripted pipeline. So now the question which most of you were asking, which one is better, which one to use when? Now, the similarities is what we saw just now. Oh, hold on. So when you write the script is actually written in a Groovy syntax. How do I know that? See here, it is saying I'm going to use Groovy sandbox. So Groovy syntax is getting used. Both are using the same set of syntax, same machine. Performance wise also almost same. Then what's the difference? The first and the foremost difference which you will see here is that the syntax is different. This guy starts with the keyword as pipeline, has agent, and then stages. This guy directly starts with a keyword as node and then stages. So when it comes to scripted pipeline, definitely I have less features, less complexity. So if I'm a beginner, I'm just starting my Jenkins Groovy scripting knowledge, I should go with scripted pipeline, okay, because it is simple. As and when I grow, as and when I learn more, I should go with declarative pipeline. Again, there are many companies who stick to declarative pipeline, so you have to start with declarative pipeline only. So it may vary from company to company, but still, if I have been given an option, I will start with scripted pipeline and go with declarative once I am okay with scripted. There are two major differences again, which we saw apart from the syntax. The first is when I use a declarative pipeline, the syntax check happens initially. Now, because the syntax check is happening initially, there are less chances that a faulty record will start execution. So I don't have to run a job which is of 100 steps and it fails at 99 and then again start from fresh. So that kind of scenario is not there when I'm talking about declarative pipeline. In declarative pipeline, the code is checked initially, syntax check is initially done, and then only it is allowed to execute. The second is that in case in a declarative pipeline, my job fails due to some reason, I have an option to restart it from a failed step. Obviously, these features are not there in this thing. So which is used in the real time? I just now told. It will totally depend on your organization, on your project, which one they prefer. Both of them can be equally important. If your company is not doing one second. So if my company is not doing something very complex, they will stick to scripted pipeline. But the moment they start complex thing, they have to move to declarative pipeline, because at the end of the day, declarative pipeline will only give them more flexibility, more features, and more stuffs like this. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. In the declarative pipeline, the first initial the problem can be identified and then it can be moved further. And the second thing is that, for example, in the declarative pipeline only, there is a error in the test and deploy. And then how do we run the further steps, sir?
That's what I told you. You make the changes.
Individually, there is an option, right? For wherever there is a stop, from there we can restart.
Yes.
But if there is a mistake in the 2 stages,
then it will fail 2 times.
Correct. But at a time we can, after correcting, can we run that at a time?
At a time, see, unless and until you identify the error, you cannot run it at the same time.
Yes. See, I have found that there is a 2 stages error. One is in
then
test
you
and
fix
one
both
is
of
in.
them.
But there is no option I saw in that selection mode, sir. There is only one option whether you can select test or deploy or.
No. It is the place where it has failed. See, it's a sequential execution, A, B, C, D. So either it can fail at A or it can fail at B, C, or D. Same time, B and D cannot fail, right?
No, not B. Okay.
Wait, hold on. Wait, explain this to you. See, in my job, there are 5 steps. Step 1, 2, 3.
No, this concept I got it, sir. But my question is only in the scripting.
Wait. I'll come to that. Hold on. Now, let me say there is a problem here. And there is a problem here. Okay. When you start your execution, ideally, initially only it should detect. But in worst case scenario, if it was not able to detect, it will come here and fail. The moment it fails, you have to fix this problem. At the same time, you came to know about this problem also. You fixed it. Very good. If you did not come to know about the problem, you have only fixed this guy. You again run. It will run 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, it will fail. Now, again, you have to fix this. Once it is fixed, then you move ahead like that.
Correct. But see, my understanding is that in the scripting, sir, like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 is there, right? Build and test and deploy. I have the problem in build as well as the deploy. So the time of failure, I found that there is 2 mistakes. One is in build and another one is in deploy. And then I have corrected and then I went back to my configuration and then started again running the code.
So you fixed this also, this also. So now when you start, it will run smooth. It will go all the way here. It will not stop anywhere.
Okay.
See, code will only fail when there are issues. If you have identified the issues, fixed the issues, then how will it fail? It will not fail. It will go smooth.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, there is again a major problem which I see here. Now, the major problem which I see here is that this code is exposed. Everybody can see the code, and more importantly, people can simply come and change the code. Maybe they have done it accidentally, maybe they have done it intentionally, but anybody can come and change the code. And because of that, when I run it, it fails. See here. So he did not notice that some XYZ did this change. Okay. Now, what should I do? Now, I should keep my code secure because code is something which is very much important. So how to make my code secure? So I can do something like this. So which I've already done. So let me show you that. I will put my code in GitHub. Ideally, it is said that you give the name as Jenkins file. whatever code you have, you put it here. Same code, whatever I was just now showing, I put the same code here. Now, rather than writing the code directly, you go ahead and give the URL of this GitHub. Go here, take the URL. So code, HTTPS URL. Come here. This is my declarative pipeline only, I think. One second, let me check what is here. Agent any, huh? So this is declarative pipeline. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going back to my declarative pipeline. I'm going to my configure. And here, rather than saying that the code is present here, I will say the code is present in SCM. SCM is my source code management. Which SCM are you using? I'm using Git. What is the repository of that URL? So this is my repository. What are your credentials? So if you remember, I have configured my credentials, Git password. I give that. Then I go all the way down here. It says, which branch are you using? So I'm using main branch. What is your, if you have some other branch, you can mention it here. What is your file name? So the file name is Jenkins file. Again, you can give a different name. Suppose your file is different, then you give the different name. Put it here. Now apply, save. This time again execute it. Now the good thing here is, see here, it executed, 7th executed. There is an additional step added, declarative SCM checkout. All the things happened. And the best part was the code was never exposed. So my code is always safe. Code is in GitHub, Git, and this is the URL. So if I have a private repository and I'm not given access to anyone, they can only see that, okay, the code is coming from Git. Like as a developer, I don't want you to show the code. Okay, I just want you to use it so that you don't make unnecessary changes or anything like that. The same can be done with your scripted pipeline also. Go back. Scripted pipeline. Go to your configuration. Go to your advanced project properties. Pipeline from SCM. Git is what I'm going to use. The URL for me is this guy. Sorry, this guy.
You can assign the same repo for different pipelines.
No, you can. So the same repo link I have given here. Credentials, I can give the same credentials. Now I will go down and say, what is my branch? My branch is main. Now which file I'm going to pick? So here I'm going to say Jenkins file. No, Jenkins file is not the one. This time I have put it here, Jenkins file 1. This is the script. This is the name of the file. Put it here. Apply, save, and let me run it again. So here I don't have archive, so this is blank. So in the 5th step, it took build, test, deploy. You can see here, build, test, deploy, and it ran successfully. Again, the same thing. I went ahead and told my code is present here, and I told that the code is here. Now this is the right way, or this is the actual way in which we work. We don't copy paste the code on my UI. Now a question can be asked here is, see, I don't know how to write a Groovy script. How can I write a Groovy script? So this is what we will be doing in the coming classes, not now. But if I have to write a Groovy script, I will come here. There are many places from where you can go, but there is something called pipeline syntax. Click on this. And here a screen like this will open where you will have sample and all those things. Now here you can say declarative directive or you can use snippet generator. That's the easiest one, snippet generator. What you want to do, so I want to connect my code to Git. Okay. In Git, what is your URL? This is my URL. Which branch are you using? Where are your credentials? Polling and change log will be automatically done. Generate a pipeline script. Take the script. Now, when you write your code, you can, this was the other one, declarative one. So you can come here, rather than saying echo, you write the actual content. And here you say SCM checkout. And then this is the actual code which I'll be using. It is picking the code from main branch. This is the credential. This is the URL. So like this, I can integrate it with Maven, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes. And in each step, I will put the actual code. I will not put this echo thing, but I will go ahead and put the actual code. So this is what I will be doing in the coming classes. As of now, I will not say that it is closed, but I will say that we have covered the basics of this thing, Jenkins.
Sir, can you go back to build history, sir? I have one question.
Build history.
And open which is failure.
Okay, so you want build history, right?
Yeah.
Go to the failed one.
And here, there is something we have seen, no, sir. We can see how where build information build.
Restart from the.
This is a console output. Yeah.
No. Not this. There is an option, no, sir, by selecting which one is how to run, like a test or.
No, this
deploy.
is scripted pipeline. In scripted, you will not get anything.
No. You go to.
You will have to go to
declarative one.
Declarative pipeline.
Yeah.
Here you go to the failed step. So that has been anyhow removed. So you will have to come here. Restart.
Restart from the stage. Here, you see, here only I got error. See, for example, if I have the problem in the build also and deploy also, how do you select at a time both?
See, at a time both you cannot do. I'm saying it's a sequential execution.
This was my main question, sir.
Yes, it's a sequential execution. So let me say build problem you have fixed, you run it. Then whenever it goes to test or deploy, it will fail again, because there also there is a problem. But at the same time, you have fixed both the problems. So let me say both the problems. Then it will go in one single shot.
Okay.
Okay. So basically what we did today, we went ahead with pipeline jobs. When I say pipeline, I showed you a workflow where A is triggering B, B is triggering C, generally used for monitoring and all. But then I showed you two different types of pipeline. One is scripted, other one is declarative. Both look same, but are completely different. The use case is different. Small things go with scripted pipeline. Bigger things go with the other pipeline. You can take reference from this Jenkins, this thing, and you will be able to understand a lot of things here. The code which I have used, I have put everything here. Okay. So that, and I have also created a document here, build pipeline doc, so that you can go ahead, check the document and get all the features here. Down the line, when we start learning Docker, Ansible, and all those things, we'll come back to Jenkins again, and then we will learn how to integrate Jenkins and Ansible together. We will learn how to integrate Jenkins and Docker together. So these things, then Tomcat is there, how to integrate with the Tomcat. So those things will come as and when we reach those places.
Sir, I hope we have not yet started the scripting, means learning.
Tell me again.
Learning of the scripting, we have not yet started, right?
See, shell scripting we did, okay. Learning of scripting will be on the fly, means I just now showed you the syntax, okay. Yeah. So you will get this kind of a template. Suppose you get this kind of a template, which I also took from internet. Now you will go ahead and make changes here. So you will know, right, where to put what. See, the template I'm not touching because that is the standard, but I have to make changes as per my requirement. So that anyhow I'll teach you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, because I have one question. Like, see, in that stage name, we can see like in the drop down we have build, test, deploy those particular things. Now, my question is like, if I have multiple project to build in one click, like suppose I have project 1, project 2, project 3. Okay, the 3 different developer have been done. Now they have given to the lead, and lead have to like execute and just deploy that to the desired location. So
in that case, you have to use multi-stage project. I just want to show you that I have closed it. So when you go to build job, no, the create job, there you have to choose multi-stage.
Okay. So there we have to give the name of the different project, or how like we have to give.
See, you can see there are multiple ways of doing it. In the same script, you step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 10, like that you give.
Achha.
Okay. Okay. If it is a sequential execution, but if you want parallel execution, then there is a different option for that. Multi-branch and multi-pipeline options are.
No, it is better like sequential execution is fine. Like I don't want parallel. Yeah.
Then step 1, step 2, step 3, like that you give. It will go one by one.
Yeah, like one project will do build, test, deploy, and then again next project will start.
Yeah, that's acceptable. You just give step 1, step 2, step 3, it will work.
Hello.
Yep.
Because today I have one issue in production because I have done one small error. Can I share in the group so that it will helpful for everyone?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I shared in the group, same group, screenshot.
Okay, I'll share it with everyone.
Yeah, please. I have one clarification in that. That's why.
Yeah. See, the job is what you're not able to find it, right? The current
job, because what happened in configure, they have given to trigger the hotfix. So
means
in branch area,
was
what
not
I done?
Configured properly, and hence the job was not found, and hence it failed.
Okay. This error came, but later I successfully triggered after
common error. After teaching everything, when I integrate, no, I'll show you.
So sure, because thanks a lot.
Basically, the error which he's talking about, no, he's telling. So he gave the file, like Jenkins file, but the file is only not present, or the branch is only not present. Then what will happen? Jenkins will not be able to find it, and hence the job will fail.
Okay. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay, guys. See you then.